Hi, my name is Heather Horton. This is my sister Samantha Horton, and today I'm going to be doing a nutritional counseling session with her. The purpose of doing a nutritional counseling session is to assess your diet and help you set reasonable goals for yourself on how to better your overall health and your dental health. My personal goal is to inform the patient about their current nutritional status, ways to improve their diet, and the effect that their food choices are having on their oral cavity, their gums, and their overall health. It is my responsibility as a dental professional to ensure that my patients are well informed and have the tools to better themselves and their oral health. Upon reviewing my patient's health history that you had filled out for me, there weren't any factors that were really being affected by their diet. She has asthma, she occasionally drinks alcohol, and she had her third molars removed. But other than that, there weren't any factors that I was concerned about. She is on a diet, so that's affecting, for her wedding, so that's affecting the foods that she's eating. And I just wanted to state that before we went on. Okay, so to complete this nutritional counseling session, you use the MyPlate website. Okay. And so I just wanted to kind of go over the new MyPlate that was created by Miss Obama. So as you can see here, we want half of our plate to be fruits and vegetables. Right. We want the green vegetable. We want really a variety, but we want, you know, either frozen or fresh. Okay. Canned isn't really doing a lot of help for you. We want to include dairy. You know, just a glass of milk for each meal is great. Also, we want to include our protein, like the lean protein, skinless, you know, not so much red meat. And then, chicken. Exactly. Which I noticed you eat a lot of. Yeah. And then greens, like whole grains, not so much white bread, but like your whole grain pasta, excuse me, your whole grain bread, that sort of thing. So when we think about it, we really want to eat things that are more natural, you know what I mean? If you think about SpaghettiOs versus whole grain spaghetti and tomato sauce, you know, which one's better for you? Right. So we want to eat things that are closest to its natural state. Canned fruit versus fresh fruit, or frozen, exactly. Right. Which one would be better for you? You know, just things to think about like that. Okay, so I wanted to explain the caries process to you first. I gave you a nutritional flip chart, which we can go over here. Okay. So the caries process is how cavities are formed. Right. So I want you to think about it like this. So we have bacteria everywhere. We have it in our mouth, on our skin, in the food we eat. It's everywhere, and it's alive. So when we eat sugary foods, you know, like soda or even ripe fruit, the bacteria in our mouths feed on that, right? They just eat all of the sugar up, they love it. Exactly, they crave it, kind of like we do. But they give off this acid once they're done. They just kind of excrete it all over our teeth surface. And that acid is what eats away at our teeth and forms the cavities. Okay. So I have a picture for you here. So the sugar plus the bacteria equals the acid, and then the acid plus the tooth equals decay. Right, exactly. So, and also you can see here we have our healthy tooth, you know, just showing some softness there. And it starts in the enamel, it goes down to the dentin, and then, which is the layer underneath your enamel. Okay. And then it goes to the pulp, which is like the nerve of the tooth, what makes you feel hot and cold. And by then you need a root canal. So that's just kind of how the caries process works. Okay, so now that we talked about the caries process, I want to explain how the food that we eat affects how cavities are formed. Okay. So we have our cariogenic foods, which contribute to decay, are what really causes that. And then we have the karyostatic foods, which don't promote decay at all. Okay. Cariogenic foods are things like soda or even fruit and milk. It can be things with added sugar, you know, processed foods, or it can even be the natural foods where it just has a natural sugar in that. And then we have the karyostatic foods, which, like I said, don't contribute to decay at all, which would be things like most vegetables, your eggs, your protein, you know, fish, meat, and even, you know, like sugar-free gum, that sort of thing. Okay, so we went through each day of the diet that you had given me, and you had circled things that you thought were contributing to decay, and then I went back through and I underlined what was. So you had circled on day 1 that you thought the barbecue and the ranch were contributing to decay because they are. You know, that makes sense. That they're simple sugars, they're processed, makes total sense. Yeah. There were things on here though, like the milk and the yogurt, even if you had cheese on the salad that you ate, or if you had cheese with the rice that you ate, all that dairy would be contributing to decay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is crazy if you just want to think milk, you know what I mean, or any kind of dairy. In day 2, again, you circled the ranch. You thought the Kraft macaroni and cheese, which it is processed. Right. Cheese, dairy. You do eat really healthy, so that's great. There's not a lot of processed foods here.
Trying.
Right, good. Not soda or anything, which is great. That's great. Again, the milk, the yogurt, the Swiss cheese, the white bread, because it is a simple...
Really?
Yeah.
White bread, wow. That's crazy.
And, like the Kraft macaroni and cheese like we talked about. And then in day 3, you had circled the ketchup, it looks like, and the peanut butter.
Okay. Yep.
That makes sense because it is processed foods. Right. But again, the milk, I assume the cheeseburger wasn't made with a whole grain bun, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the white bread there.
Right.
So that sort of thing that, like we went through the day before. Okay, so I want to go over complex and simple carbohydrates. So we have our complex carbohydrates, which gives our body the long-lasting energy. That's what we want to try to incorporate into our daily, diet as much as possible. It's like the vegetables, the whole grains. Even though whole grain is a cariogenic food,
it's still better for you.
Exactly. It's something that we want to incorporate. And they have the vitamins and minerals that our body needs. So they're, the healthy foods. You know what I mean? And then we have the simple carbohydrates, which are responsible for giving your body that quick burst of energy. Which is great at 2 a.m., but it's not doing anything for your body. So it would come from, like soda, even ripe fruit, the white bread. That sort of thing. And it can even be found in ripe fruits, dairy, fruit juices, that sort of thing. So through the MyPlate website, we were able to get a nutritional report for the 3 days of the diet that you had given me. There were some that you were, you were great on. You were at the limit that you wanted to be at. Some you were over, like the saturated fat and the total fat. Just something to think about, just to work on. Which, you can even go on and use the MyPlate website regularly, to help with your diet or whatever you want. Some that I thought we should mention, you were low on your carbohydrates, which you can get, from your grain, like we had talked about. Your fiber, fruits and vegetables, great source. Your calcium and potassium. Calcium you can get from milk, which you seem to, drink in the mornings, but maybe just throughout the day, you know what I mean? Maybe at dinner. Potassium you can get from bananas, which I saw that you had eaten in one day, so if you like those,
For sure.
Iron you can get from meat. Magnesium you can get from fish or some leafy greens. You can also get vitamin E, K, and your folate from the leafy greens. So great source, maybe for lunch if you want to have salads or whatever. Vitamin D you were under in, which just comes from the sun. Which, I really wouldn't be concerned about this just because this is taking from the diet, But you're, like going outside, 5 to 10 minutes exactly a day is really all you need for vitamin D. And then your choline, which you can get from eggs, which I saw that you ate in the mornings. So great. Just some things to keep in mind, which you can have, but yeah, it's overall you were doing great.
Awesome.
Okay, so I wanted to touch on your nutritional report and just ask kind of, some substitutes that you might want to include and how to raise these levels and get to where you want to be. What's your favorite kind of fruit, would you say?
Probably bananas.
Bananas?
Sure.
Definitely. Maybe just add that in as a snack in the middle of the day or whatever have you. It's a great way to get your fiber and your potassium. Okay. What would you say is your main source of dairy?
Probably milk.
Milk? That's a great source of calcium. Maybe just add a glass in at dinner or what have you.
Okay.
Do you like any fish? I didn't know if you ate that.
I don't eat it very often, but like tilapia and cod would probably be the ones that I prefer the most.
Sure, you can get your magnesium from there, or you can get it from your leafy greens. What would you say is your favorite kind of?
Probably spinach.
Spinach? That's a great source of quite a few of the vitamins and minerals that you're missing, so that's perfect. And then do you eat any red meat at all?
Not very often. I usually eat like chicken and stuff, but when I do, it's like beef or, you know, something to make hamburgers or something.
Sure. You get your iron from your meat, so that's perfect. It's perfect. And then I wanted to talk about each day that we went through. Okay, I'm just gonna figure out how to. Okay, so now that we talked about your vitamins and minerals that you were low in or over in or at target at, I wanted to go over the 3-day diet that you gave me and just kind of look at each food group and see where you're at there. For your grains, you were under for your whole grains, which would be, you know, like your whole grain pasta, your whole grain bread, that sort of thing.
Substituting like the white bread for a whole grain.
That'd be perfect. Exactly. That'd be great. Your vegetables, you were under in. So maybe just have a salad at lunch, you know, or do something like that.
Salad at dinner.
Right. Or exactly. Include vegetables at dinner. Just try to incorporate it that way. You were under for your seafood, so maybe just, you know, try adding that in once a week or do something like that at your tilapia, you know. You were over in your empty calories, so your fatty sort of things, which, you know, it's just something that you want to keep in mind and work on. You know, it happens, but just something to look at. Yeah. So overall, I was really happy with this nutritional counseling session. I think that we both learned a lot. What's something that you found interesting?
Like I didn't realize that breads, for instance, could cause tooth decay, or like milk and things like that, things that you would never even think
about.
Yeah, I found that really surprising. And I also found it kind of interesting to know what I can add to my diet, like just little things, like little adjustments that I could do to kind of give me a more balanced nutrition.
Great. And you can use the MyPlate, you know, and it will help with your diet. It will help just overall with your overall health. Just, you know, reinforcing what you need and what you don't. I think something I would do differently would maybe, you know, do it for a longer time period. Yeah. Maybe just do it for a week. I think that I would learn a lot definitely from that. But overall, I was really pleased with how it went, and I learned a lot too going through it. So I was excited about it.
Awesome.
I was excited about the project. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem.